Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. We're working on episode 5 of Band of Brothers, Crossroads, as we make our way through the series Band of Brothers on our first watch. I'm Dylan. Joining me, as always, is Ben. And up front, just want to do a little housekeeping. You've got a lot of newsletters. You get a lot of emails every day. You're probably trying to unsubscribe from some. But if you want to join our newsletter, head over to cocktailsandclassicspod.com. About halfway down the page, there's a little subscribe to us wherever you listen. A little box you enter in your email. And we're starting a little newsletter just to keep people updated on what we're doing here at the podcast. And I want to keep it fun. I'm not going to try and spam you. I'm not going to sell your email. I want to give you some fun movie trivia, little details about things we're doing, movie news, any fun trailers that are out, what's coming up in the theaters, all that sort of stuff. And it'll most likely not be an every week thing. It'll probably be as we're releasing episodes. So if we're releasing episodes every week, you might get it every week. If we're releasing an episode every couple of weeks, you get it every couple of weeks. But join there. If you want to help us out, you can always go rate, subscribe, share with your friends and family. And yeah, we're trying to expand a little bit here. Maybe do a little video podcast. Who knows? Cocktails and Classics 2024. It could be anywhere, baby.
We are breathing new life into the into the podcast. It's coming, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, we're batch recording to cover for when my shitty work schedule means I'm traveling. We're out here recording late at night so we can record around children's schedules. Now we're bringing newsletters. We are bringing it to the people.
It sounds really old when you say it like that. You're like, hey, we're bringing new things to you. Newsletters. It's a print newsletter. Give me your address. I'll send it to you in the mail.
We're hip. We're hip and cool here.
So episode 5 of Band of Brothers is it's an interesting one to me. The storytelling is very different. I don't know why. One of the shows that I probably watched, I never finished it. I made it to like season 9, and then I watched season 10, but I never finished the in-between of 9 and 10. X-Files. And this episode has what the X-Files has, where when they change directors or you get a certain director, you can kind of tell that it's different than the other ones that came before it. And so for that reason, as I was watching this episode, because the storytelling is completely different, it's told from the future through Winter's point of view and his typing out his TPS reports or whatever he has to do in his current position, talking about the events that happened on October 5th and how he kind of led his guys into this battle at the Crossroads, where there ended up being 2 German SS battalions there. So I was like, oh, this is so weird. It's so different. I gotta look who directed this. And I didn't realize, but this is the Tom Hanks episode that he directed. I'm not sure if he directed more, but it had that thing where the X-Files, you can kind of tell that somebody else is directing, or it's somebody with a different vision. There's episodes specifically where David Duchovny directs in X-Files. You can kind of tell the one with is it Vince Gilliam, the guy who did Breaking Bad?
Vince Gilligan?
Okay, yeah. You can kind of tell the episode that he does of the X-Files. You're like, oh yeah, this is. It also has Homeboy in it, Bryan Cranston, and I'm pretty sure Aaron Paul's in it too.
In the X-Files?
Yeah. Well, he is in an episode. I don't know if he is in that episode.
Oh, I was gonna say I know Bryan Cranston was in an episode because that's how him and Vince Gilligan first met, and that's where the relationship started. That's why he came to mind when Gilligan was doing Breaking Bad. I heard him talk about it on a podcast once.
But yeah, it had that thing to me where I was like, this is kind of not like the others. And I did, I was worried about episode 4, and I said, replacements, they're going back into, France or whatever. It's going to be kind of a filler episode. This was my filler episode, I feel like. Not much happens. It's a lot of setup for the next episode.
That was my biggest takeaway at the end of it, was just being like, wow, this felt like an episode where we just watched Goku charge up a spirit bomb for 20 minutes and nothing really happened, It's just
Yeah.
kind of how it felt. It was just like, we're doing reports, and we're gonna talk about this battle, but the battle's not really super interesting. There's not a ton that's invested here. Yeah, I don't know. It did not seem like there was a ton that really kind of happened. Um
Or the big things that did happen, I feel like just were just like a quick little snippet. I feel like Moose getting shot by friendly fire and then just being shipped off was like a 3 minute scene, and it was like, all right, bye Moose, see you later. Oh, but he's okay. He wrote a letter. It's gonna take some time to recover. All right, I guess.
cool. Yeah, it was just kind of like hi Moose, bye Moose.
Yeah,
Thanks for stepping up. We'll see you later, I guess.
I mean, I guess they just had to tell us that somebody else was taking over Easy Company. I don't know. I don't really. I didn't hate it. It just didn't give me a lot. I mean, we kind of, as we've said before, and you kind of hinted at in the past, was like, Winters is this overarching character who's like the main character, but he's not always going to be the focus of each episode. And this one is definitely just purely focused on Winters. And we get more of what we've talked about in the past of this like leadership, and even the interviews at the beginning, kind of, not to brag and toot our own horn, but things we talked about last episode where, we talked about Winters' leadership abilities, and, the guys at the beginning talk about, oh, like you kind of have to understand how your men think and how they operate. And that like you need a different leadership style for every guy, basically. And I was like, hey, that's what we talked about. But yeah, it was we get more of that like leader of Winters, especially during that battle. And I forget who the character is, but the like he's not, I don't think he's a general, but the guy who's above them, he's like, hey, you're a great like tactician, and
Oh,
like,
Colonel Sink?
yeah, and he's basically like, yeah, you're great at your job, but do you want this promotion? And it's gonna be a desk job.
Yeah, we're going to make you executive officer, which means you're going to sit here behind this desk.
Which is like a waste of Winter's abilities, I feel
Yeah,
like.
which is just okay. So I will say that did leave me with the question at the end of the episode: is I assume he's going back into the field at some point, right? Like, we're not just gonna.
He's there with them, is he not? Or no?
Well, that's the thing is he
Or I
keeps
guess
traveling with the unit, or at least when they're all stationed
we didn't.
in France. Like, he's there when they're watching the movie and they get the orders. I guess we'll find out if that means he's going to travel with them or not, but...
Because we didn't see him in Bastogne, did we? I know he talks to Dyke before they leave, where he's like, there's no ammo, like, you didn't get these guys winter clothes, and there's, like, no supplies here. But we didn't see him, like, travel there with them at all.
You said in Bastogne? The episode?
Yeah.
You've already watched it?
This one. At the end. No, in this episode. That's where they're, like, going. That's where they are at the end.
Gotcha.
Where it's cold as shit, and it's about to be Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, you had me... We don't... No, he's there with them.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure at the end of the episode he's with them. Oh, man, maybe he's not. Maybe not, because I know Winters is there, and he's...
Oh, no, he is there. Because
I thought he was grilling...
He asked the guy about the ammo.
Yeah, I thought he was grilling that new guy, and he's like, do you have enough ammo? Do you have enough food? Do you have enough of everything packed up?
Yeah, but after that, after he, like, shits on Dyke, he asked Sink about all, like, the lack of ammo, because the one dude shows up mid-conversation, the guy who was, like, at the wedding, shows up mid-conversation, he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to, like, beg, borrow, steal ammo. That he says that to Winters, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, not just that, but at the end of the episode, too, doesn't Winters say that...
The paratroopers line?
Yeah, paratroopers are supposed to be surrounded, and then he joins everyone as they walk in, so... Yeah, he does end up... Yeah, he's back with them.
Yeah, so he is there. Okay.
How about a little Jimmy Fallon action this episode?
Yeah, the Jimmy Fallon jump scare.
Yeah.
What a terrible cameo that was. Let's be honest. Like,
It was pretty rough.
that was terrible acting. Like, that man showed up, read the script, and that was pretty much it. No, zero emotion. I don't know what you would add to that, but he was just like, "Yeah, man, there's some troops coming. They've got a couple of tanks there. I'll see if I can make another run and get a mortar. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Jimmy Fallon. Thanks for that fucking cameo."
What all had he actually been doing anything at that point?
No, this is before Fever Pitch, right? That was like 2004 or something.
Oh, I want to say, yeah. I think
SNL, pretty much. I feel like
started SNL on that point.
had he not? I thought he was a '90s guy.
Maybe he was like the end of the '90s, because I know he did the movie with Queen Latifah in '04, and then Fever Pitch was in '05. The issue is it still shows like on his IMDb it shows through like 2019 because that's probably the last time he hosted.
He was in Almost Famous.
Okay, he had started in SNL in '98, so yeah, he'd been on SNL for 2 or 3 years.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the Simon Pegg cameo was a little more like out of left field because, like, what had he been in before this? Really, Spaced. But I think they probably is this shot in England? I feel like it is.
I would imagine they probably shot it in Europe. I can't imagine that they put as much money into this and they didn't try to film as much on location as possible.
Yeah, a lot of it was filmed in England, Switzerland. Yeah, the UK, basically. Yeah, because, like, Simon Pegg was in, like, hardly nothing before this.
When did he join the Mission Impossible movies? Wasn't he in those early on?
No.
I guess not. Maybe he didn't join
first
till, like,
Mission
the
Impossible.
third one, huh?
The first Mission Impossible wasn't until, 99?
Yeah, I want to say somewhere around there. Oh, no, wow. So just to point out, the first Mission Impossible movie that Tom Cruise was in came out in 1996.
That's, like, the best one, isn't it?
That one or two. Although I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of the newer ones, but I've heard they're really good. I just feel like I remember watching 1 and 2, but it was a long time ago, and I feel like in order to jump in, I have to like redo the whole thing, and it's like a Marvel movie thing at this point where like I just don't have time for that.
I think I bought, like, they had, like, the 6-movie pack or something, or, like, up to, like, not the newest one, and I have that. Just, yeah, it's, like you're saying, it's 7 movies or 8 movies,
Yeah.
whatever they're at
Yeah.
now, you know? It's like,
Don't get me wrong. We
It's
finished
an
Band of
investment.
Brothers. We want to do Mission Impossible 1. I'm down. I'm game. But just to get to the newest one where Tom Cruise is just trying to kill himself in the most inventive way possible and film it, I haven't gotten that far yet.
he joined in Mission Impossible 3, by the way.
Okay. Man, I feel bad. I know there's not a ton to I feel like to talk about with this episode. Just because, like we said, there's just not. It doesn't feel as eventful as other episodes did, which is interesting to me that this is the one that Tom Hanks, who like helped executive produce the entire thing, was like, "This is it. This is the one I want to do. The one where nothing happens."
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So I was just looking at, like just looking through the episode guide on IMDb. And so this is an 8.8 on IMDb. And I'm excited because the next, like, I guess we're about halfway through here at this point. The next, like, 5 episodes, besides 1 episode, are all above 9. So
Holy
it's like 9
shit.
twos and above. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's get it.
Yeah, I'm looking at this
Because
right now.
before
I'm like,
this-
holy hell.
Before this, Day of Days was a 9.1 and Carrington was a 9. But everything in the front half has kind of been like just around a 9, and then the next ones are like 9.4. A 9.4 and a 9.5 is crazy. What is a what was Shawshank?
It's got to be up there.
A 9.3. Okay, I
Yeah.
was gonna say that means that like 95% of people who watched this episode liked it, like thought it was hot shit. Like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, I think well again, and kind of along the lines of the first episode, right? Where like you're kind of watching and you're like, okay, but now we know we're heading into shit. We're about to hit D-Day, so like shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
This was kind of the same one where it's like try to find as much ammo that you can, try to find this that you can, and it's like, okay, this is prepping us for some shit that's about to go down.
Yeah, it feels like it's about to not be fun at all. Like it's cold. I mean, not that war was ever fun.
I was
But,
just saying,
like-
I was just like, these young men, the person in the episode is dying. People are getting wounded. Garnier comes back with a fucking limp this episode, and it's just like, now shit's about to get fun. Ooh.
but like, I don't know. Like obviously it's gonna suck. It's cold. They don't have winter gear. They don't have enough ammo. They don't have enough rations. Like it's gonna blow. Going forward, we'll see what happens there.
I have one prediction. I think something's gonna happen with Buck. Because during the scene where
Buck
they're
was
watching
not
the
in a
movie,
good spot.
he was just like completely zoned out. Winter starts talking to him, and he's just like, lights are on, no one's home.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's like, because wasn't he was shot in the butt in like the second or third episode, right? That was the most.
Last episode.
Was it just last
fourth,
episode?
He was shot in the butt. Yeah.
I thought it was when they were in
Yeah.
the. Huh.
No,
okay.
it was the one
thought it was
where
in Carrington.
Randleman gets left.
Okay. I thought it was the other. Okay. Well, either way, yeah. I don't know if that's what it is that's getting to him, but like, yeah, he looks like he's half checked out, which is scary.
Well, this episode kind of like previous ones we've talked about, like this, like the hell of war and the effects that it has on you, and like this is the first one where we kind of really get a taste of like the PTSD and like the mental aspect of it, really. Besides, I guess Blythe, where he just was kind of like his body was physically shutting down from like the experience, but like Winter seems to be this like steady, like hardened leader who in the face of adversity just doesn't back down. Like when he ran ahead of his smoke grenade, the signal that he gave everyone at the crossroads and was like, don't leave until the red smoke goes, and then starts running ahead. Like he's dealing with that mentally when he's in Paris on leave and like having this leisurely time. He's like seeing himself shooting.
Well, because he
German
sees that young French boy, and in his mind he sees him as the German. I mean, for lack of a better word, like kid. I mean, the soldier he shot looked like he was maybe 17. So, yeah, I mean that's probably that feeling of PTSD that gets to him.
Yeah, it was kind of rough because I feel like, you think of Winters as this like he's the straight arrow, like you can always fall back on Winters. He's got us, and then like he's dealing with his own shit. He's dealing with the same effects of war that everybody else is dealing with. But yeah, I also wrote Buck's not looking good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just the first thing. I was just like, ooh, this. Also, I did notice even in the rest of that scene, some of the boys are getting chippy, which I mean makes sense.
Oh, dude, when they're
watching the movie and the one guy's talking and they're just like, hey, seriously, shut up, trying to watch the fucking movie. It's like, I've seen this movie 13 times.
I've seen it 14 times.
I haven't. Shut up. It's like, all right. Damn.
Well, that, and then like when they're on the like caravan over to Bastogne, and like the new guy's there, and they're just like, "Hey, you got 2 pairs of socks, or you got what 4 pairs of socks or something?" He's like, "Well, I got an extra pair," and they're like, "Yeah, you got a cigarette? You got a cigarette? You got a lighter? You got a?" Like, I think I have a cigarette,
Yeah.
and they all go crazy. Yeah, I was like, Jesus, hounding this boy.
Welcome to war, son. Don't you wear that? Don't you wear that patch on your shirt? You weren't there. So yeah, looking at some of the trivia on this episode, just to kind of go through, and what's interesting, this I thought was a really cool thing that, again, talking about who Winters was as a person. The report that you see him typing never uses the word I. He never takes any of the credit for any of the stuff they accomplish. Everything is completely like by the unit, which is kind of cool. And then Winters had stated that he felt like getting the rank of captain was a demotion. He wanted to be in the field and felt that he was stuck behind a desk being a pencil pusher.
Yeah, I could kind of see that.
He also said that the bayonet charge was the pinnacle of his career as a soldier, which, like, yeah, I get it. It's a pretty badass thing. Like, yeah, pretty impressive. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, that time I charged in by myself with a bayonet against a full unit of Germans. I think that was when I was at the best. Yeah, all right, that's cool. It's like Tom Brady being like, I don't know, I think the 6th Super Bowl, I think that's when I knew I was good. Okay.
I did see the second thing on trivia where Garnier is limping in the episode was because he had stolen a motorcycle and was shot by a sniper while striding it. We never saw that.
No, and
they don't even like.
What's interesting is that we see in like the 2nd or 3rd episode, we see like Malarkey and them stealing a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they just like shifted some stuff around to try to get that narrative to fit in, or just they did it to show us like, hey, this was shit these guys did. But it was kind of interesting that he just walked in with a limp. No one talked about what happened, and then he just kind of walked out. It's like, oh, I left the hospital, and it was like, wait, I don't remember him getting shot or anything.
Yeah, that's what I was like. And then Winters does say, hey, no more joyriding, and I was like, is that because he says I'm gonna go get into trouble, or like where's that come into play?
Yeah, I don't know.
We had talked about like the visual effects of the series. I do think the Paris scene was a little nah.
Yeah,
but it's fine. Like I understand what they're like trying to do, and like obviously they probably just shot it on green screen and all that, you know. And it's not bad. Like once they get to Winters in his seat and there's like people are blocking a lot of the background, it's like fine. But it does look like it's like that weird. Like, have you seen? I think it's Rogue One. No.
Thinking of Solo?
Maybe Last Jedi? I think it's Last Jedi, maybe. The one where they tried to bring back Princess Leia, like digitally.
Yeah.
To me, there's this thing when you're doing CGI and computer generation where if it's like too perfect or like too good looking, it looks worse. And I feel like that's kind of what we got here in Paris was like, it looks too idealistic and like, you know, they have like this really soft shimmer glow on everything and it like, oh, Paris.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like...
Sometimes it looks like they try to put like a little bit of a soft blur on it so that you can't tell it's CGI and then it just makes it look like it's too...
just out of focus by the camera or something.
Yeah. Now I know exactly what you're
like
talking
it almost
about.
just like if you make it ugly, it looks more real. Like the real life isn't perfect, you know. Like that's the same thing with like the Carrie Fisher like Princess Leia thing was like she doesn't look like that. she doesn't look perfect. Like her face has imperfections. You can't like remove the imperfections from somebody's face. Like, you know, like you remove like their beauty marks or like anything like that. It's like
no, I agree. I do think that one was rough, but What stood out to me is early on in the episode when it's like the night that they take the German troop like by surprise. I don't know what it is, but man, just when it's like in the darkness and you see just the little like the light flashing from the bullets as they move by. Oh, it looks so I know it's not realistic. You don't see the light of a bullet traveling across like that, but it looks so good. Oh, it looks so pretty.
Yes, they're not actually like tracer rounds. But,
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I know they don't have like a tail on them that you're just like, oh, it's like looking at a shooting star. But it looks so good, and I know why. Obviously, they do it is so that you can see what's the viewer at home kind of gets an idea what's going on. But yeah, I just think that it's got such a good look to it. Oh, did you catch Tom Hanks in the episode? I did not. I did not until I saw it after the fact. If you go on IMDb though, where they have like the pictures from the episode,
yeah.
If you go over, there's the one with the guys in the berets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is he in the
yep?
British battalion somewhere?
If you look like the top left quadrant.
Yep. Oh, yep. I see him right there.
He's got his hands on his hips. Yeah, snuck himself in there.
Yep.
Just a little Tom Hanks action there.
So yeah, like the whole the thing that pisses me off about this episode is just like that. There's cool shit happening, and maybe it's because it's a 10-episode series and you can't fit everything in. But like this Operation Pegasus sounds sick. And literally all it is we show up with the British guy. The British guy goes into the bushes and he brings out a bunch of other British guys. And then they have a hoorah celebration.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, this could have been something more intense, but maybe it wasn't that intense when it happened. I don't know. Like,
I don't know, but you just think they could have done it in such a cool way where they almost make you think like, you know what I mean? One of those episodes where you think something's going to happen the entire time. And then in the end, you're just kind of like, oh, man, they pulled it off without anything happening. But my God, did we think that shit was going to hit the fan. Almost like the episode where they're going through and the guy finds the Nazi soldier, but he's already been dead for a while. Blythe.
Oh yeah, with the Edelweiss or whatever.
Yeah, but like a bunch of times throughout the episode, like it seems like something bad's gonna happen to him, and then like a majority of the time he gets out of it. And you're just like, oh, that was super suspenseful, but nothing really happened until the end when you're like, okay, here we go. Now we're in the clear, and that's when shit hits the fan. That seemed like this could have been a good Pegasus could have been a good story in the same vein, where it's just like. You feel that tension the entire time, but like you said, maybe just because it was a cut and dry mission and it went smooth, then maybe they didn't feel the need to tell it in that way. But
once again, Nixon, kind of pointless. I don't know.
Nixon just getting drenched in piss and
drunk,
drinking beer or drinking booze.
Yeah, that he still stores in Winter's Foot Locker.
Yeah.
Don't know why he does it. He's a captain, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on that Nixon episode. Show me some growth from Nixon. I need it. I feel like at some point. To me,
like
it's just
I said,
kind of the comic relief. Like,
and it's just so weird because I know I read his biography, and I'm just like, this just seems like he was some pretty cool shit. And yet, so far, we've seen none of it.
He's kind of like Kramer, almost. Like, he just kind of shows up. No. Like, he just kind of, like, walks in the door for the gag, and then just kind of, like...
Winners! You're not going to believe this!
Booze in your footlocker!
It's piss, Winners! It's piss!
Then he gets up on stage and he says the N-word, and...
Whoa! Whoa! Now he's now Nixon's just this super big MAGA guy, and here we are. and,
Uh,
and we're all shocked that the guy who got in trouble for saying the N-word on stage is a huge Trump supporter. Whoa, what?
oh man. Yeah, I just want to see more of Nixon. I don't know. More, not more of him, I guess. More of from him is what I mean. Like, I don't know. Also, Dyke to me kind of seems like the new Sobel. Like it seems like no one really wants to follow him. You know, kind of goes with what like the guys were saying at the beginning of the episode about like you kind of have to be like a leader and understand the men, but then also that you're not necessarily above them and that you're willing to, lead on the shitty days as well as the good days. Like it doesn't, and I feel like that's kind of probably where like hell, Garnier left. He went AWOL out of the hospital to go see Winters. Like, and they were having their tiff in the second episode. Now they're like best buddies. It's like the guys need Winters, and hopefully, like we were talking about earlier, like he's there at Bastogne. Like, hopefully, he gets to come back and like lead them in the field again, which I feel like he will because he kind of already is like he's the desk job. But then he was also like talking to Moose and be like, you need to do this and this and this and this. And then with Dyke, he's like, oh yeah, these guys need ammo, they need winter clothes, blah 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 blah. He's like still kind of like micromanaging everyone, even though that's not his job. It's like, all right, calm down.
Oh, he's 100% one of those people that is not going to be able to let things go.
He said, well, that's my baby. I started this program.
Yeah.
I was,
yeah.
Just gotta check.
You just better watch it. He better watch it. Otherwise, he's going to be shipped off to teaching doctors and chapelmen how they're going to jump out of planes. I'm going to Sobel his ass.
He's like he sold his house to somebody and he still kind of drives by just to check on what they're doing with the house. They got some new...
They cut that hedge? They cut that hedge? I grew that hedge for 4 years.
Oh, they put up a fence. This neighborhood's really going to shit now.
Yeah. No, he's 100% that guy. I don't know, but I will be interested to see how, if they even mention the fact that he's doing like the reports and shit at the same time as he's also in the field with the men. I have a feeling it's just going to kind of drop and we're just going to get more of him being a soldier than him being a reporter.
Probably. I would like for them to exploit it. Like, it's not just going to be like, oh, yeah, after this episode, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, and now Winters is back leading the pack. It's like, wait a second. How do we get back here?
I just hope he just keeps pushing it off. Here, Zelensky, write this report. Get me a bacon sandwich. I just still can't get over to the whole pissing in a pitcher and then leaving the pitcher next to your bed thing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe just because you didn't want to, like, go outside and, like...
But, like, my guy...
Exposed?
There's other... But still, why would you leave that right next to you? The risk!
Well, yeah, like, what if in the middle of the night you got a little thirsty,
And, like Dennis Reynolds says, you didn't think of the smell. You didn't think of the smell. You bitch.
One thing we didn't talk about, which was kind of interesting... was the guy, I forget the soldier's name, but the one who was kind of like just shooting into the field while the guys were like, twitching and moving. And then Winters like goes and is like, takes all his ammo and leaves him with one bullet. He's like, make sure these guys get back to camp.
Leg bit? Yeah, where he's just like, literally leaves him one bullet. And he's like, if you shoot on any of them, they're going to overrun you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
That'll teach you.
All right, Winters. Yeah. Anything else, Ben? Anything you're looking forward to? I know personally we got probably a tough one coming up. Cold.
I have a feeling the next one's gonna be also some more casualty heavy, which I mean, R.I.P. to Dukeman. Yeah. He's been there since the beginning. So this was a weird one to this was a weird episode to see someone who's been there, not that I think Dukeman was ever really like one of the main characters,
Yeah.
but still kind of a weird thing that, in this episode of all episodes is one where you lose someone who's been with the division and the regiment since episode 1. So,
And just kind of dies unceremoniously.
yeah, and it doesn't seem like they really talk about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for how close he was with, like, Picante, and, well, Blythe, I think, isn't with the unit now, but some of the other guys that, Martin and them, and nothing was just like, yeah, okay. Well, Dukeman's gone. Like, oh, all right.
Yeah, it was like, Dukeman, go do this. All right, Dukeman said, all right.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird to me that it was just kind of like, oh, all right. Someone who's been here the whole time, but we're just going to not really talk about the fact that he's dead now. All right. But I have a feeling I have a feeling next episode we're going to be like, oh God, I can't believe this person or that person died.
Yeah, need to not go to any IMDb pages where it's like, he was in 6 episodes. Like, no.
Yeah. Yep, I have a feeling that one's going to be.
I'm also trying to not to like look at any episode descriptions or like really just any spoilers. I just want to raw dog every episode and just no expectations.
I understand this sentiment, and I want to say I share it, but I don't because of the verbiage you chose. I, too, am also looking forward to going into each episode without knowing what happens.
Yeah, like I just want to like, learn it as I go, which is something I tried to do with movies in the last couple of years. I kind of took a break from it, but just like there were some movies where I'd watch the trailer, I'd be super hyped from the movie, and then it kind of just like my expectations were higher than the movie ever was. And so then I would just go, I'm not going to watch any trailers. I'm just going to go to a movie just purely based off of like the poster, the people in it, all that. No expectations besides like, I'm very excited for this movie. And it was all right. I feel like there's some movies that highly benefit from just going in without zero expectations.
So I will say, for the most part, I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely, I don't follow enough, as crazy as it is to hear someone who does this podcast say that they don't follow really what movies are coming out. If it's not a superhero movie, I'm not really sure what's going on. So a lot of the times, if I find out about a movie, it's through a trailer. So a lot of like the movies that, I know one of the ones that I want to see is the, what is it? Fly Me to the Moon? Is that the one that's coming out with
and Scarlett Johansson one?
Yeah, Channing Tatum, but whatever.
Oh, whatever. Other popular white guy.
That one I had no clue about, but when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. The whole, like, a movie about them filming the moon landing, like that's a clever idea. It's period piecey, which I like. Like that's one I would go see. Realistically, the only time I will look at movies to see without trying to spoil like too much is scary movies, because I'm a little girl when it comes to them, and I don't like being afraid. So sometimes it's just nice to be like, oh, I know when the really scary bits are going to happen, so I don't have to be like super terrified about it. Because yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan. I know you'd said, without really seeing any trailers or anything like that, anything coming out that you're looking forward to trying to go see or hoping to be able to see coming to streaming relatively soon?
Oh man, so much, Ben. Unlike you, I'm someone who loves to keep up with what's coming out. Maxine, I'm excited for. I have not watched Pearl. I watched X. I love Ty West. Could take or leave me a goth. Don't really care. But
Is
Ty West is,
is that the A24 one?
yeah, where she,
And that's part of the whole.
it's the like
Is that part
X
of the other
Pearl
ones?
universe. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay.
I don't know if I'll see it in theaters. I might just catch it after. Long Legs. So
That is one
excited
I was
for
going to
that.
bring up.
The
That's
Mika Monroe
one
one.
that's one that looks like one of those ones that I might have to do a little bit of reading beforehand. But I've
I
heard
don't think
it's like
it's
a more intense. The
Silence of the
trailers all
Lambs.
compared it to like Silence of the Lambs-esque, where it's very much more
Yeah.
like thrillery than it is straight horror movie. But then they're like, it's also terrifying, and I'm like, okay, well, you lost me.
What? I saw the director was like, I'm a little confused why people are so scared at it, but I was like, all right, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm excited. I'm interested to hear about Twisters.
I'm curious to see what the response is to them making a sequel to Twister. But like they waited until like after Bill Paxton passed away to now release this sequel. I don't know. Curious to see how they address all that. But I know it's supposed, that one I only know a little bit about, is that it's supposed to be like the original couple's like kids. Again, not a movie I'll be in a rush to see, but something I'll be curious. I'm actually more curious to see how the reviews come out for the new Crow movie.
Yeah, I saw some stuff come out about it, talking about like how it's a lot more of like a indie film, like less like
Less action
studio.
movie.
I
Yeah.
don't, I don't exactly understand like what they were trying to get across, but
I feel like they were trying to be like, we're going to make it more comic booky, but like indie comic book.
yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like that's a tough one to pull off after like one, everything happened with Brandon Lee. But then two, they ran that franchise into the ground with TV shows and like 8 fucking sequels to The Crow. It was just I don't know how you try to come back from that. The other movie I really actually want to see is the Beetlejuice sequel.
Yeah, I saw it's opening Venice Film Festival. Don't know if it'll be any good, but
I don't know, but that one looks pretty solid.
I gotta see Megapolis, the new Francis Ford Coppola movie. Everyone is I feel like it's getting so much publicity that I have to go see it. Like the dude sold his wine fortune to make this movie. No one wants to distribute it. Apparently,
That's
it's
what's
like
interesting
kinda
to me is
shitty.
like, yeah, that's what's interesting to me is like, you've got a Francis Ford Coppola movie and no one's willing to pull the trigger on that. Like that's an interesting one. Yeah, no, I just figured something we, haven't really talked about, movies coming soon, so figured it would be a good kind of deep dive for things we're looking forward to.
Thanks for listening. Check us out next week as we move on to episode 6 of Bandit Brothers. Hope you're listening along, watching along. Check it out on HBO or HBO Max as of recording. I guess it's Max now. I don't know. Share us with your friends and family. Check out our website, cocktailsandclassicspod.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. Hit up our Instagram at cocktailsandclassicspod. Tell us your Band of Brothers takes and your experience with the film. And as always, watch responsibly.